Alright, so I literally just woke up, like, right now, and first thing in the morning, I see new merchandise leaked for Thomas the Tank Engine 2026. Oh boy! Now, we've been getting spammed with Thomas the Tank Engine leaks since, like, December of last year. We got that initial sweep of merchandise. And then it's just been firing on all cylinders, from image leaks to listings to books, freaking books. So you might be saying, "Oh, Rashid, what makes this one so special?" Because this includes the actual packaging for the toys, and that means we get renders from the actual show. Now, I really didn't want to judge the show by the merchandise because Mattel doesn't make good toys. For like the last however many years it's been since they had the rights to Thomas the Tank Engine, the merchandise just never looked like the show, like ever. So, I didn't want to judge the show based on the merchandise, but now that we have actual, like, the renders from the show and actual images of it, now I actually get to make a judgment call. And oh boy, do I have some thoughts. So our first one is Thomas the Tank Engine. First of all, before we even talk about Thomas, and I'm not going to be talking about the toys, by the way. I genuinely do not give a shit about the toys. I'm just talking about, like, the renders. But first off, let's take a look at that logo, because this was revealed not too long ago, and I kind of just want to talk about it. First of all, the show is just called Thomas and Friends. It's not called anything unique or special. It doesn't have a subtitle. It's just called Thomas and Friends. It's just the name of the old show. It's still clearly a reboot. It's still like we're starting over season 1. I don't think this is a continuation. I don't think this is season like 25 of the original show or something. No, this is a full-on reboot. But it's just called Thomas and Friends, which, sure, like, I don't know, like, what do we call this? Like, the 2026 show? All right, what if it continues for multiple years and we get, like, what do we call this by, like, the 7th season of it, right? Like, do we just call it the new show? I doubt that's gonna age well, because knowing Mattel, they're probably gonna reboot the franchise again in like 4 years. So yeah, it's not gonna be new forever. So, like, genuinely, I'm just like, what do we call this? Whatever. It's just called Thomas and Friends. Sure, that works. Friggin', I don't know. Oh yeah, I just realized I forgot. I was in the middle of talking about one of the engines, and I completely forgot to talk about the actual logo. I just talked about the fact that it was called Thomas and Friends. Yeah, this new logo is weird. Like, I don't really think we needed a logo change. I think the original logo is literally, like, perfected and it looks fine. I don't know why we need this new logo, and if so, why it just looks like that. It's pretty weird. Like, the new font, like, sure, whatever, it's a bit more rounded, but, like, the cloud especially, just, this looks like a sad cloud, man. Why is it arched that way? That just, like, the old cloud looked, like, even and, symmetrical. This just looks, man, this cloud looks like it's frowning, man. This is a sad look. It's available on YouTube Kids, though, which is interesting, because I mean, I'm not complaining, right? If it's just available for free on YouTube to watch, like, and they just earn their revenue from, like, monetization and merchandise sales, like, I'm fine with that. Because the biggest problem for Thomas the Tank Engine, since Mattel has acquired it, is distribution of the actual show. Like, the show just did not exist. It was, like, nowhere to be found. Nobody was watching the show, because Mattel's distribution just fucking sucked, and they didn't know where to air the show. Like they barely aired it anywhere, and like like that's been like the downfall of the show monetarily since Mattel has acquired it. So I mean, it just straight up being available on YouTube for free to watch, like, sure, honestly, I think that's a good play, honestly. And I mean, hey, I'm not complaining because if the show's just available to watch for free on YouTube, that's probably gonna incentivize me a little more to watch it. But anyway, the actual render of Thomas here, ignoring the elephant in the room. All right, well, we'll get to the face later. All right, but let's just focus on the rest of Thomas here. Yeah, this is Thomas the Tank Engine. I'll be darned. This is Thomas the fucking Tank Engine. They didn't honestly, like, I was expecting to be like shocked or something by the new design because, you know, the last time they did a reboot, Thomas looked like this, and oh boy, so I was expecting like a similar shock value for this, but no, it's just Thomas the Tank Engine. Aside from the face, now we're getting to it. Man, okay, I'm fine with the irises. All right, one of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way in the initial like merchandise leaks are the irises. I didn't really think they fit Thomas the Tank Engine characters, but I was like, whatever, I'll hold off till I actually see it in the show. It probably won't look as bad, and it doesn't, all right? It doesn't. The facial structure of Thomas, though, that's like, they gave him a baby face. I'm more so worried about what this means for how the character is gonna be written, because if he has a baby face but like doesn't act like it, if he's characterized the same way but just has a baby face now for, I don't fucking know, appeal or something, sure, right? But I doubt that the face is simply just a visual thing. I think this reflects his character, which is pretty concerning. But whatever, moving on from the blue twit, here we have Percy. Why does he look like that? Why does he look so derpy? He's got some derp to him. Why are his eyes so far apart? You know, Percy's actually like one of the few faces from the initial like merchandise leaks that I actually didn't mind. In fact, I was a big fan of his face. I freaking loved his face on the Trackmaster. Like that shit looked immaculate. That looked like a Percy face right there. All right, I loved the way that looked. But this render like looks nothing like it. Honestly, I have a theory. I don't think they even made new renders for this show, at least for the like merchandise here. This looks like it's just traced over like the original CGI renders and just like photoshopped together, and like they plopped a new face on it. That looks like all they did, because this doesn't look like an actual new render. I mean, you can tell, like, one of the defining features of the new Percy toy is that it has like a triangular boiler, right? It's kind of like a Railway Series styled boiler, and that was like one of my favorite parts about the new Percy design. I really like that it's, you know, it took some inspiration from the Railway Series, but like here he just has his, like, you can see in the render, he just has his circular one from the show. So like I think he's still gonna have the triangular one in the actual show, but the render just doesn't reflect that for some reason, which again makes me think these aren't even new renders at all. I mean, this straight up looks traced from just his original CG render with just a new face plopped on it, which is so weird. Did they just like not have enough time to make new renders, or was it like out of the budget, or like I don't know, like why are these just, they look like they're just photoshopped together. They don't look like new renders, which is weird, but whatever. Rosie, what the hell? First of all, they're keeping the redesign, great. right? Like I genuinely I was kind of half worried that they'd just revert back to her original design for this reboot, but no, they kept it consistent with the old show and actually like kept her redesign, which is great. That was something I was worried about, so I'm glad they kept the new design for her. But what is that face? That looks nothing like Rosie, right? Like I'm fine with this as just a face, but it's not a good Rosie face. This looks nothing like the character. Like, look at this. This is how Rosie looks. This is not the same person. Rosie looks like she's had a complete like facial reconstruction, right? Like her eyebrows are like thick. The brown iris is fine. I have no problem with that, but like, the eye shape is like completely different. She has like far more pronounced lips. Like what? Why? What? Like Rosie was always like just a younger looking character in the show. Like this just looks like she turned 18 and got like severe plastic surgery. Like why? This just looks so weird. This looks very uncanny. I'm not a fan of this. The rest of her looks fine, obviously, as like most of the characters do. Like the rest of them looks fine. It's mainly the face that I'm caught up on for most of these characters. Here's Devious Diesel, and he's Diesel. Not much to say about him. He kept his purple irises from All Engines Go, which fine, right? Purple irises fit him well. Interestingly enough, he has a red running board now, right? Like I get that he's had a red buffer beam in the original show, but now he's like his entire running board is like completely red now, which fine. I don't mind it. I think it looks cool. Whatever. It's just Diesel. It looks like Diesel. As long as he's characterized like Diesel and he's kind of like an enemy slash frenemy to the engines. Like if he's just, if he's Devious Diesel, if he's not like the whatever that thing was in All Engines Go that like was not the same character, which I don't think it's a bad character, mind you. I don't. Like, if you like All Engines Go, like, I guess I should preface this. If you like All Engines Go, that's fine, right? If you like your 2D, like, cartoony, like, talking train show with, like, Big Daddy Gordon as the fatherly figure to the engine, like, sure, right? I'm just not a fan of it. So the further we are from that interpretation of the show, the more this appeals to me. And, this design is fine. Again, as long as he's just characterized like the original show, I'm fine with that. Next, we have Toby here, which surprised he's even still relevant. Glad to see it, though. His proportions look off. Like, his face is way too big and wide, and his body is, like, way too small. I feel like if they just scaled up the body and scaled down the face, it would look more right, but sure, whatever. Proportions aside, he has kind of a more light brown color, which honestly kind of reminds me of a Sodor livery in the Railway series, which, I mean, Mattel, at this point, this is like a full reboot of the show. You may as well just straight up use that design for Toby, all right? Please, I really, like, that's, like, I really fucking love that livery for Toby, all right? I would have loved if you just put that in the show, but whatever. This is just his classic livery, which I'm fine with. The face is probably one of the best faces so far. I mean, yeah, this just straight up looks like Toby. Nothing wrong with him there. He's Toby. He's got brown irises. Sure, that works. That matches his paint job. Sure, right. He literally like just looks like a direct translation of Toby into the art style of the new show, which I'm fine with. He looks great. He's probably one of the better looking ones out of all of these. Next is the troublesome truck, which First of all, man, look at that face. That is a devilish face right there. That is a demonic face right there. That is an evil face. Like troublesome indeed, dude. This guy looks like he's ready to throw an engine off the rails. He's yellow. Sure. In All Engines Go, they kind of, this is another carryover from All Engines Go. This show is kind of weird. It's kind of like a mixture of the original show and All Engines Go at the same time. And it's kind of weird. Trucks in All Engines Go were like all, colorful, and they had like different, a variety of different colors of the rainbow. And I'm guessing that's going to be carried over to this show instead of just the lots and lots of gray trucks that we were used to from the original show, which, sure, like the more visual variety, more marketable to make toys out of, but it's less realistic, but whatever, sure, like fine, it's not that big of a deal. And if anything, I think yellow is probably one of the better colors out there, because yellow is a color that catches your eye. It means danger, it alerts you, it's kind of telling you to be careful. And these are troublesome trucks. Like they if you've seen what the troublesome trucks can do, yeah, you better heed their warning. So this is actually like a pretty fitting color, all things considered. I don't doubt that in the actual show there are going to be a variety of different colors, like red and blue and green, At least yellow makes the most sense to make a toy out of, because, again, it's fitting for what the troublesome trucks are, right? And our last one here, Harold, sure. Man, where do I even begin with this? This is a hot mess. First of all, he's got a complete livery change. This actually reminds me of the Railway series again, with that like halfway through the books or whatever, Harold actually got a new livery in the books as well, which obviously never carried over to the show. This kind of reminds me of that a little bit, but obviously it's different. Harold is probably one of the characters from the show who has the least interesting paint job ever made, so sure, I don't mind that they're heavily redesigning his livery. Sure, I'm fine with that. I think he looks all right. He's a bit more modernized. He's got a bit of a more modern paint job, which, Thomas the Tank Engine takes place in the mid 1960s or whatever. So this is kind of weird and out of place for the show, but fine, whatever, right? Sure, he's more modernized now. I don't care. I don't really mind it. It's fine. It's whatever. They want to modernize him, sure. Next up is the face, which he's got a gray face, right? To be expected, since seems like everyone is getting a gray face in this show, which I don't mind for the sake of consistency, right? As long as the gray face actually fits the character and somewhat resembles what came before, I'm fine with them having gray faces. But Harold actually already got a gray face, not in the original show, but in All Engines Go. Once again, All Engines Go keeps entering the topic of discussion here. And honestly, I feel like that gray face is a lot better. Surprisingly. I actually don't mind Harold's gray face in All Engines Go. If anything, I really like it. That's probably the only thing I like from All Engines Go is Harold's gray face. It's a pretty good translation of his original face to a gray face. And this one's way different. This one, it just looks like a jock, which kind of fits with his character. Sure, Harold's a bit of an asshole. He always thinks he's superior to the engines, and whatever. It's a bit playful rather than anything serious, but he's still a bit of a jackass, right? But if anything, the fact that he looked so unassuming in the original show was one of my favorite parts of him, because you have this freaking smiley face of a character here compared to the engines, and he's just talking big shit. He's talking shit about the engines. He's constantly throwing insults their way. And motherfucker looks like this. Motherfucker looks like a smiley face. That was one of my favorite parts of him as a character, is the fact that he looked very unassuming, but always talked shit. And I feel like the All Engines Go one, translates that perfectly. Like, he's got a pretty like innocent looking face, and even the face is just a very good translation of his original face. Like, I could see like the CGI era, Harold VA. I can hear his voice coming out of this face. So if anything, I think All Engines Go did the gray face Harold like a lot better than this. The fact that you can tell that he's just a bit of a jackass by just looking at his face, like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. Again, I liked, like, one of my favorite aspects of his character is that he looked pretty unassuming. So, that ruins an aspect of the original character that I really enjoyed, but whatever. It's Harold. He looks fine. I think he looks fine enough on an objective level, but it's just I'm just not a fan of it. Again, it's not the fact that he has a gray face. I'm not opposed to the gray faces, right? Like, Annie looks beautiful, right? Like, her gray face is done masterfully, I think. And I love it. But this one in particular, I'm not too big on it. Again, I think All Engines Go, just ironically enough, did a way better job of this than this new show. And yeah, that's it. That's the new Thomas merchandise leaks. That's all we've got so far. I still can't make up my damn mind about this show. I think I'm really just gonna have to wait for that trailer to come out, right? Because damn well they're doing a trailer for this show. I guess I just gotta wait for that to come out because, man, like, everything about the show has been I'm so mixed on every reveal, every leak that happens, right? Like, the merchandise, the initial sweep of merchandise from December, I was pretty mixed on that. But then, the character leaks, right? And the insane, like, returnees, like, that got me pretty hyped. But then these reveals and seeing how some of the characters look, like, I'm very mixed on it. The lighting and the shading and the actual, like, engine designs look beautiful in the show, but then you get to the faces and it kind of ruins it. So yeah, I'm very mixed on this new show so far. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. Again, I think the deciding factor is gonna be that trailer. Whenever that trailer comes out, I think that's gonna be like the deciding factor of how I feel about the show. And if I still feel mixed about it after watching the trailer, then damn it, I guess I'm just going to feel mixed about the entire show as a whole. But yeah, I will say this has been like a bit more fun to follow than All Engines Go. Like, when that got revealed, it was just straight up like distraught, right? Like, this looked completely unappealing to me. This looked nothing like the old show. It's just a completely different interpretation of Thomas the Tank Engine. And again, if you like it, that's fine. I just personally don't. But I will say, as mixed as I am on this new show so far, at least this has been like a bit more fun following the like leaks and reveals and everything about this new show. So at least it has that going for it. At least it's not doom and gloom from the very beginning. So yeah, that was my thoughts on the new leaks. New Thomas Tank Engine leaks, tank engine. Bye.